up, everybody? This is just going to be a guide to show you how easy it is to fucking gear a wizard. There's so many people saying, you know, this is the best, that's the best. No. Just about any character, you can gear it out, skill it out to exactly how you like to play it, and it will still be good. There's so many misleading videos on here where people are like, you have to use this. No, you don't. I'm going to show you why. Alright, so I'm going to start out by describing my build. This is an Arcane wizard. My main cooldown is Archon, which I am using a lot of reduction. So on my cooldowns, I think I have, let's see, right now I'm at around 48% cooldown reduction. So on top of, I have the Veer set, so I have all the runes, so I have the rune to take down more cooldown. So it's, you know, I have around somewhere between 30 to 35 seconds on my Archon, which isn't bad. You could have higher, but I chose to go with an Andy's helm just because it brings in a lot more damage. I didn't really want to go with the socket because when you're out of Archon, you can have a lot of damage anyway. So, you know, disintegrates Archon. So, you know, look at it. 511% weapon damage. That's a fuckload. That's a lot. You know, on top of that, I got a Sunkeeper. Really nice. Triumvirate. You know, I think I'm sitting around a 70% buff to all my arcane damage. So, I hit really hard. I mean, all my friends are always telling me, go get on your wizard. I have a lot of different characters. Just simply because it gets kind of boring playing the same character, and I like to switch it up. But the cool thing what they did with the last patch is they made it to where you can use just about any element you want, period, and still use Archon. Because, see, pure power is lightning, slow time's cold, and combustion's fire now. So now you can stack any of those elements and still use Archon and get your main bonus. Now, the Veer set makes it kind of confusing. Thought I would just run this by you guys. You don't use every element type. What it'll do is it'll see what your highest average is and use that element as your main damage. So mine scales with Archon. All the arcane damage. What you want, okay, so you're definitely going to want a Sunkeeper with this build. You really, this is pretty much the most OP one-hander there is right now. People can argue that the element bonuses, you know, Utars, you know, Burning Axe, stuff like that, the 20% on those is good, but really this damage against elites is OP right now. You can't beat it. I highly recommend, if you have one of these, put it on, socket it, make it badass. You're definitely going to want a Stone of Jordan. This is the best ring in the game, hands down. You're going to want this just about every build that you have, period. I got the Archon damage, increased damage to elites, and of course I have my Veer set. 500 intel, Archon gains every rune, which is really fucking badass, which I'm going to show you guys here in a couple minutes. And Triumvirate, which is pretty OP for an offhand right now. I don't really see myself switching, just because compared to Triumvirate, all the other offhands are just kind of trash. I mean, some of them are good, but they just don't compare with element builds like Triumvirate does. So, Ring of Grandeur. I highly recommend farming this ring, just simply because you don't have to have as many set pieces. So I have 3 sets of gear, and you know, the 3 pieces are giving me the 4 because of that ring, so that's nice. And now I can stack Borns as well and get the 3 piece for that. 15% life, reduce cooldowns 10%, and increase bonus to all experience. So it's really nice to have. It'll just save you some time farming. You won't have to farm all 4 pieces of gear, or all 3, all 5, whatever. So you're definitely going to want, for this build, Reaper's Wraps isn't as important, but if you can make a good pair, I highly recommend it, just because when you're out of Archon, it'll scale your arcane power a lot better, and you'll just be able to just spam. Okay, so I'm gonna go over my skill set right now. So I really like this build. Arcane is really OP right now in my opinion. I'm using Spectral Blade, it's my primary, with Barrier Blades. Just simply because it's nuts. You can have so many different shields going at one time. So Barrier Blades, each cast, gives you an 8,253 shield. So, I mean, if you're really in some trouble, you're out of arcane power, you can just sit and spam Spectral Blade. And to scale with that, I have Magic Weapon with Deflection. So, if you're just spamming, you're constantly shielding, period. So they're giving you, you know, 8,200 every time you're attacking. So that's a constant shield, no matter what. And if you're using Dominance, it's nuts. That stacks up to 10 times for 12,000. So really, you can have a shield for close to around 150,000 going at all times. Really badass. I like to use Unwavering Will just because of wizards. Unless you're in really high torment, you're doing a lot of standstill damage. There's not a whole lot of moves you can use where you're running around, so all you have to do is stand for 1.5 seconds. You gain 20% armor, 20 to resist, and 10% damage, which is fucking huge. Glass Cannon. Wouldn't use this until you're really geared. I mean, you can, but you're gonna have trouble staying alive, kinda, just because it decreases your toughness. But once you get geared, this is a must-have. Gotta use it. And just because I'm working on the cooldowns, I have Evocation to reduce all my cooldowns by 20%. Really handy for Archon.
Yes.
Why do
Helps
you
you
keep
keep it up all the
dancing
time.
over at
And
Kadala?
you know, not only that,
Just
I mean,
making sure she
say
isn't
if
up
you're
to anything
using,
suspicious.
you know, another skill. I don't know. It just helps. It helps you constantly spam shit. It's badass. So, I'm using improved Archon even when I didn't have the Veer set, just because it's nice to have that extra damage. Archon's a damage cooldown. Why not make it OP? I mean, you could use any of this stuff and it would work good, but aim for the Veer set and you will rock shit. You'll farm T2, T3, T4 pretty easily. I wouldn't recommend actually doing T5, T6 if you're farming for gear. It's really inefficient. If you're farming for gear, run T1, T2, T3, T4 if you're really geared and have a good party. T5 and T6 are mainly just for Paragon leveling. I mean, some people like the challenge. I mean, I tend to get really bored. I don't want to sit and attack something for 20 minutes. You know, and it really slows down your clear time on rifts too. So when you're talking at T5, T6, if that's taking you anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes, when you can run a T1 or T2 in 5 to 10 minutes, I mean, think about it. You can run 4 to 5 rifts at the time that you can run a T5 or T6. So you're getting that much more gear. So I'm going to show you a little bit how this class works. So I'm just going to kind of open a rift. Probably won't finish it right now because I want to make some more videos for you guys, but I'm just going to show you. So you're definitely, I forgot to mention Spark Flint. Pretty key. Just a nice little damage buff. I'm gonna go over the skills again. I forgot about that. I apologize.
Are you ready?
Want to
Then
make sure I
your
cover
trial
everything.
begins.
Okay, so I like Chaos Nexus. It spreads to different enemies. Really badass. I mean, you can use, I see a lot of people using Entropy. Look at that weapon damage, and that's why. If you're planning on doing a lot of short range, that's kind of the one to go with, but Chaos Nexus is a spread attack. It hits everything. And once you hit that high element damage with the high sheet damage as well, you're just going to cook through shit anyway. But Entropy is probably the most OP. So I would either use Entropy or Chaos Nexus. So next, let's see, Familiar with Spark Flint. Increases your damage by 10%. Gotta have it. You can kind of use whatever energy armor you want. I prefer Prismatic Armor with Energy Armor, just because it gives you 25% more all res. Really good. It makes you really tanky, and it stacks well with all my different shields, so even when I do get hit, it's not for much. So this is T2. This is shit. I'm not sure.
Didn't see that coming, did you? Need more time.
Now this is why
not ready yet.
Really handy. If you're using Archon, get the beer set. Once you're out of Archon,
need more Arcane power.
But it's I'm constant. Yeah, Archon still works. I see a lot of posts with Archon, whatever. So long range with Archon. I would show you. You're going to want to use Arcane Strike and Arcane Blast repeatedly, because Blast spawns because of all your cooldown reduction constantly. So when I do like a Rift boss, something like that, I'm constantly critting for anywhere from 40 to 50 to 60 mil. Constantly. And that's a fuckload of damage. Even with it only lasting for 20 seconds. I mean, think about it. I mean, the Rift boss. When I pop Archon. Especially if you're in a good group, he dies. I mean, me and a couple of my buddies run T3, T4. We've done just sliding the Rift boss. Now, far. In T4, T5, Arcane Blast. That you're going to want to take. Arcane Strike, I mean, controlling a lot of the aggro. Yeah, you can sit in there and spam it, but if you're on your own,
your defenses are nothing.
I mean, this build has a really fast not on here, and I'm really going to try hard. I'm spawning the Rift boss every 10 minutes, and that's on a slow run. Any build, anything you want to do will work. You have to skill set and the gear for it. Some builds are more.
I don't have enough arcane power.
You can make anything work. You like a skill, try to build around it and make it work. So this is my first video on sub period.
I need arcane power.
Subscribe.
Your grave waits.
Because I use a lot of different characters. And pretty much all of my skill sets work on all my characters. Higher up, I would say, but thanks again for watching, subscribe, like,